High Court yesterday made another High Court cost order against Enoch Burke. This was a bid by Mr. Burke to overturn the May 2023 court order upholding his August 2022 suspension and ordering him to stay away from Wilson's Hospital School. The judge in this case, Mr. Justice Mark Sanfey, said that it would be an affront to justice not to award costs to the school against Mr. Burke of his failed bid to overturn the order. The judge said that arising from his behaviour in court at the opening of the full hearing concerning the validity of his suspension, Mr. Burke was excluded from participation and the matter was heard and determined by Mr. Justice Alexander Owens last year in Mr. Burke's absence. The judge granted the school a permanent injunction restraining Mr. Burke from attending at the school. Burke's contempt of court orders to stay away from the school, which dismissed him as a teacher last January, has led to him serving periods of imprisonment in Mountjoy jail for contempt, extending to more than 400 days over the past 2 years. He was released in June of 2024 despite his failure to purge his contempt, and he showed up at the school again last week at Wilson's Hospital. On July 19th last, Justice Mark Sanfey rejected his arguments over the validity of Mr. Justice Owens' orders, and since that judgment was given, Mr. Burke has showed up at the school again. The school had sought the costs of the unsuccessful July application by Mr. Burke. He opposed the school being awarded the costs, arguing an exceptional issue of constitutional justice existed. He contended, among other arguments, that the judge had not dealt with the central issue in the case, an alleged lack of legal basis for the then school's principal to request teachers to address a student by their chosen name and the pronouns they, them. Rejecting that and other arguments made by Mr. Burke, written submission over costs, Mr. Justice Mark Sanfey said that Mr. Burke was entirely unsuccessful in his application. His written submissions were essentially an attempt to re-argue it and to raise grounds rejected by the court, he said. There was nothing to suggest, according to Justice Mark Sanfey, it was reasonable for Mr. Burke to have raised or pursued any of the issues in the application, he said. The application was inappropriate and should not have been made, he said. The school had been entirely successful in defending the application, and it would be only an affront to justice if the school was not awarded the costs, he found. So he awarded more costs against Enoch Burke, and it's estimated that the costs in this case have run to perhaps hundreds of thousands of euros in legal costs to date. That's the latest. It's, as I say, another High Court cost order against Enoch Burke, arising from his long-running dispute with Wilson's Hospital School.